Fundraising for the indoor turf project highlights this evening's City Council meeting. Good evening and thank you for joining us. That's just one item on a very busy agenda at City Hall tonight, which also includes the ratification of the 2025 budget.
The president of Soccer Northwest will be there to answer questions regarding a new committee that'll be formed to help cover part of the cost of the $42 million project. Michael Veneziali points out that the turf facility isn't just for soccer. The fundraising committee also has representatives from touch football, minor football, ultimate frisbee, cricket, and baseball. He won't say how much they plan to raise, but the number floated at City Hall 4 years ago was $1 million. Veneziali says the committee won't start fundraising until the city chooses a bidder this spring and awards a contract. Despite all the controversy surrounding the project, he hopes people will support their efforts.
I'm really excited for this to go forward, and what I would say to people is we're out there doing work that no other user group has had to do to fundraise to help assist with this, to help make it happen. I think we need to reserve judgment until the whole plan comes out so they can see what the facility actually looks like, what it'll actually cost, and what we're able to contribute on that side as well.
Also tonight, City Council will hear more on a proposal to allow pets to be buried with their owners at the city cemeteries on Broadway Avenue, pardon me. City staff say the idea isn't feasible due to a lack of space for new cemetery plots, and City Council will debate whether to have city staff look at restricting parking on Sunrise Boulevard off of Golf Links Road. Some employees and clients of the regional hospital often use that spot for free parking.
The latest U.S. tariffs were imposed late this afternoon by President Donald Trump. There's now a 25% surcharge on imported steel and aluminum, and that was top of mind on the election campaign trail here in Ontario today.
All of the leaders are outlining their plans to deal with the threats and the Trump administration as a whole. CTV's Siobhan Morris has the details.
For Doug Ford, the new threat of tariffs on steel and aluminum entering the U.S. is indicative of the chaos Ontario is in for through Donald Trump's presidency.
Shifting goalposts constantly.
The Progressive Conservative leader wants to know exactly what we're in for before committing to retaliation, but
it will wake up our friends south of the border.
In the meantime, Ford says if he's re-elected, he'd protect the province by blocking Chinese state-owned enterprises
from buying or taking equity in any Ontario government-funded energy and critical mineral projects, or any major infrastructure assets.
Thank you. Hi. But the Liberal leader doesn't feel Ford has any credibility on the tariff fight.
He's been caught flat-footed because he hasn't insulated our economy.
Bonnie Crombie says it's something she'd pursue along with setting up
the Fight Tariff Fund, the FTF, or, F Trump Fund.
Offering businesses loans at government rates. The NDP leader adding a last-minute stop in Steeltown, meeting with worried steel workers.
I'm going to make sure that the jobs here in Hamilton are front and center when we're talking about whether it's going to be retaliatory tariffs or what the plan is going forward.
Earlier, Stiles was in Toronto, pledging to add capacity back into the healthcare system.
It starts with hiring more nurses and establishing safe staffing ratios to make sure that patients get the care they need when and where they need it.
Promising to hire 15,000 nurses, costing $1.5 billion over 3 years.
Which one is it?
The Liberal leader boils the campaign down to a simple choice.
You can vote for a party that will invest in their rich friends, foreign-owned spas, fantasy tunnels, and one-time checks. Or you can vote for a party that will do more for you.
Green leader Mike Schreiner in Cambridge touting his housing plan.
Increasing investments in shelters, transitional housing, and permanent supportive housing with wraparound mental health, addictions, and other supports.
Describing housing as a human right.
That was CTV's Siobhan Morris reporting. The region's forestry sector is also still bracing for potential U.S. tariffs, while noting that certain products already have duties of nearly 15%.
The head of the Ontario Forest Industries Association says Donald Trump's planned tariffs could be devastating, as more than 97% of products made from Ontario logs are exported south of the border. Vasilios Bellows reports.
Although the 25% U.S. tariffs on Canada have been delayed for 1 month, Ontario's forestry industry isn't breathing a sigh of relief.
It's going to be impossible to replace the importance of that marketplace.
Ontario Forest Industries President Ian Dunn says the tariffs would be devastating, as more than 97% of forest products from the province are exported to the United States. Currently, softwood lumber is already subject to a 14.5% duty, which could jump to 35% later this year. Dunn says the proposed U.S. tariffs would just be added on top of these.
Across the board, 25% tariff, which would be in addition to, not replace, but in addition to the softwood lumber duties. That means the pulp and paper sector would be impacted. The panel sector would be impacted. Getting equipment across the border, both from the U.S. into Canada and Canada into the U.S.
There have already been challenges for the industry in the Northwest, with layoffs and most significantly, the idling of the Terrace Bay pulp mill. That put 400 people out of a job. Dunn says these struggles are unfortunately being seen across the province, with the past week only exacerbating these challenges.
In a lot of respects, the damage has already been done. If you're a multinational company looking to invest your dollars, you're going to sense a lot of uncertainty in the marketplace right now. You would lose a lot of confidence in the Canadian-U.S. relationship.
When asked which operations in the region would be hurt more by the tariffs, the sawmills or the pulp mills, Dunn says it's hard to say at this point which type of mill would be impacted the most. Viciolos Balos, TBT News.
Thunder Bay's Injured Workers Group is supporting the Ontario NDP's plan to introduce new legislation at Queen's Park to replace the Workplace Safety and Insurance Act. They held a news conference today at the local OPSU office. Injured Workers Group Treasurer Steve Mantis says they're excited about the potential tabling of the Meredith Act in the legislature sometime after the provincial election. They say the new act would help those in Thunder Bay and the rest of the province who are struggling with workplace injuries.
First, we developed our platform for change, which put the principles of how we think the system would work best, both in terms of compensation and rehabilitation, long-term effects, the governance of the system. So these were put down as, yes, this is what the system should be part of. But then when the opportunity came up to actually introduce an act, a new law, then we shifted gears, we involved lawyers.
If the general public knew that all these injured workers are hanging on to the social welfare system, they're not supposed to be, because it's supposed to be covered by the compensation system, and that they're accessing the healthcare system when that should be covered by the injured workers, by the employers. It's a serious situation.
Tupker adds the Meredith Act would also hold the system publicly accountable with a new governance model and the requirement to collect information about how well the system serves workers and employers.
Grade 2 students throughout the Thunder Bay District could soon learn about traditional Indigenous food harvesting. The Indigenous Food Sovereignty curriculum was created by the District Health Unit in partnership with area First Nations.
It was really place-based on what the community needed and what was growing in their area.
Based on a food sovereignty assessment done with 14 regional First Nations, the curriculum follows the 13-month Ojibwe calendar and teaches what foods were traditionally harvested in the region during each month. The curriculum includes videos with some pronunciation on the Ojibwe language, along with a coloring book designed by local artist Shelby Gagnon. Public health nutritionist Kim McGibbon says she's excited to help share this type of learning.
In northwestern Ontario, foods from the land and from the waters and the skies are a big part of everyone's lives, especially the Indigenous people that have lived here for many millennia and have passed on those skills. And so bringing those foods back for some or keeping them in people's diets is really important. And there's so much nutritional value for getting that food, not just from a nutrition perspective, but from a mental health perspective, an activity perspective, right? That more holistic version of health that comes from finding food on the land and being connected to the earth.
So far, the curriculum has been launched at 2 schools in the Superior Greenstone District School Board. Educators who want to bring the program to their school can contact McGibbon at the Health Unit.
The 20th annual Snowarama fundraiser for Easter seals was a big success this past weekend.
Local snowmobilers traveled across the border to Grand Portage to ride the trails and raise more than $42,000 for children and youth with disabilities. Jessica Clement was there.
Snowmobilers from across northwestern Ontario and Minnesota were at Grand Portage Lodge and Casino on Saturday morning for the 20th annual Snowarama event.
We have a great turnout. We're very excited for how many people came out this year, right? Mm-hmm. We have well over, I think we're close to 150 riders, so it's nice to see the numbers out compared to last year without any snow, so very excited.
Easter Seals organizer Rhonda Harrison says this year's event was a huge success, and it was amazing to see so many riders hit the Minnesota trails again. She notes Snowarama is truly a family event, bringing out riders young and old.
We tried it last year and we thought it was pretty fun, so we did it again.
And what is your absolute favorite part?
The jumps. I think just riding in and see everybody else with their snow machines.
Participants had two routes to choose from, a long ride that's 120 miles or 193 kilometers, or the short route, which was 35 miles or 56 kilometers. Tony Swader with the Minnesota Trail Riders has been volunteering with the event for 20 years. He says knowing he's able to help out the kids is what brings him back year after year.
You get to see kids that you helped out and they're going to college and they're improving their life. It's just the best that you can do. And I appreciate all the people that come down and help support this. It's really great.
This year's event raised over $42,000 for Easter seals. The organization uses the funds to help families purchase mobility and accessibility equipment and give children with disabilities access to summer camping opportunities.
I actually went to one of the camps last summer, and it makes kids feel like kids. It feels really good, and because not a lot of kids like me get recognized a lot, so it feels really good that people actually come out and support.
Over the past 2 decades, the Grand Portage Snowarama has been able to raise over $650,000. The Lodge and Casino's Levi Libra says the event shows what can be achieved when people work together.
It's great because it's just an extended community, and to see people coming together and raising money for such a great cause and having fun doing something that they love.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
Officials with Our Kids Count are excited to bring back the Ultimate Duck Race for its second year. The springtime fundraiser is being organized in partnership with Bell and the Cam River Fighting Walleye hockey team. A launch event was recently held at the Minnesota Park Outdoor Rink, where kids had the chance to skate, learn, and have fun alongside the walleye players. Last year's inaugural duck race was held at Fort William Historical Park and was a big success. Now it's coming back bigger and better than ever. The kids who hit the ice with the walleye swapped pucks for rubber ducks, adding a fun twist to raise awareness for the upcoming event.
This year, we're just excited to bring it back again. It was so much fun. It's a really fun family event where families can come out to the Fort William Historical Park and see their ducks race down the river with a chance to win, the grand prize of $10,000. So yeah, we're just really excited to bring it back again. Super excited that Bell is on board as our presenting sponsor again this year, and our partnership with the Cam River Fighting Walleye is always just, a great partnership to have.
With the walleye, one of our biggest principles is helping the community. As you can see here tonight, we have our players giving free skating lessons, and just going with that, us being in the community, we like to help agencies like Our Kids Count who are in the same communities as us, helping the kids. That way we can see firsthand how far the community support goes.
We get to see lots of ducks go down, and some of them are slow, but lots of them are really fast.
Yeah. Last year's event raised around $20,000 for Our Kids Count, and the expectations are even higher for this year. The second annual Ultimate Duck Race is set for May 31st. Entries for each rubber duck can be purchased on the Our Kids Count website for $20 apiece or 3 for $50.
People in the municipality of Neebing gathered yesterday for a family skate day at their new covered rink next to the Blake Hall.
The $1 million structure officially opened back in the fall, and now that the ice conditions are perfect, Neebing residents are definitely making the most of it. Emma Chilton has more.
The project budget was just shy of $1 million, and the new rink was installed before Christmas and was put to use during the holidays. They also installed a shed with seating to change gear and bleachers for observers. Head of the Recreation Committee, Karen Colson, says the new ice rink has many purposes.
It's a multi-purpose building, so there's going to be uses in the winter with the rink, and in the summer we're having numerous family things here. Canada Day, we've got a market coming in September, and
Family Skate Day featured skating and s'mores, and inside Blake Hall was a movie, popcorn, hot chocolate, crafts, and hot dogs. Colson says the rink is used daily and mentions the other updated one in Neebing.
It's open basically 24/7, but from noon to 11 at night is when it gets used the most, and people are welcome anytime, really.
And not only do we have this rink, we also have a hard surface and boards put up in Pearson Township, which is also part of Neebing, and it's a little bit further out into the country, and it's being used every day.
A multi-generational family expresses their love for the new rink.
Well, this is our first time skating at Blake Hall. With the new rink, we wanted to come and try it out. We're 3 generations. We've been skating for a long time together. My daughter, my son, my grandson, my husband. And we're just really happy to be here and be able to try out the ice, so that I think we're going to come more often now.
The covered rink is open for public skating every day from noon to 11 p.m., and 11 p.m. is when the lights shut off for the night. Neebing Municipality welcomes everyone to enjoy it and come out to their family events. Emma Chilton, TBT News.
With Valentine's Day right around the corner, the Thunder Bay and District Humane Society and a pair of local sponsors organized a Valentine's puppy photo fundraiser this past weekend. Ungali Clothing Company hosted the Pup-Up photo shoot on Saturday with Jamie Dawn Photography to raise money for the Humane Society shelter. For a minimum donation of $20, dog owners could get professional photos taken of their special friends. There was also a Smooch the Pooch booth set up for some extra photo ops. The Humane Society's Stephanie Felino says the fundraiser will help them deliver key services at the shelter.
The more we can get, the better. We are kind of, we are full currently, so any funds that we can receive we'll definitely take. We've currently been dealing with a lot of medical cases especially, so we've been really pushing for fundraising. But yeah, we've been super grateful for the community. Like our most recent fundraiser, we had a goal of $2,300. We ended up raising almost $7,000, so the support from Thunder Bay has been amazing.
Just showing the organizations like the Humane Society support is really important for businesses to be involved with them, to help get all the dogs homes, just promoting them through events like this. Hopefully people will go to the Humane Society and think of the Humane Society when they get a dog instead of other options.
The Humane Society is looking forward to holding more fundraising events in the months ahead to support the animals in need at the shelter.
Like a great time, and I love the idea of the Smooch the Pooch booth.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Gives new meaning to warm and fuzzy.
Yes, well, Fiona, you may be hoping today that you have a pooch to get warm and cuddly with, because it's a cold one out there. I was a little surprised when I stepped out this afternoon.
Yeah, the weekend was a little below normal. Normally for this time of year, we should be seeing daytime highs of -6, lows of about -17. We were nowhere near that today. We started out with an early morning low of -23 and wind chills of -29, only warmed up to -13, and the wind chill felt like -22, helped in part to those winds which were ranging from 21 to 48 kilometers an hour, so no surprise, we had some drifting snow throughout the day. Across the region, we couldn't be more consistent if we tried. Temperatures are ranging from about -17 to -20. We've got light snow to the west, mostly or partly cloudy skies to the north and the eastern shores of Lake Superior. Wind chills are ranging from -28 to the west to about -25 as you head a little bit further east. Of course, as always, the outlier is Sault Ste. Marie, but they are still experiencing wind chills of about -15 right now. The winds have been increasing in the last few hours, so bit gusty there. And here in the city of Thunder Bay tonight, it's going to be even cold again. Low of -21, wind chills of -28, and that's with the winds tapering off a little bit. Just an itty-bitty chance of a little bit of light flurry action. For the most part, it's going to be partly cloudy. But if you thought today was cold or tonight was cold, just wait till you see what's coming. We've got very cold temperatures on the way over the next 36 hours, and I'll have more details on that later on in the news hour. I know you just can't wait.
Can't wait to hear all about it. Yeah, thanks a lot, Fiona. All right, well, speaking of things we can't wait for, we alluded to it earlier in the show, but U.S. President Donald Trump has now imposed 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum being imported into that country. He signed an executive order just before we came on the air. We'll have more details about that after the break.
We think the suggestion of putting tariffs on Canadian steel at 25% is egregious.